What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to go over all about my last tournament, which was on Clarks Hill Lake in Georgia. It was the second stop of the Major League Fishing Invitational Series. As you can see, I'm not in Georgia anymore. I'm back in Michigan. You can probably tell by the snow. I did not make the cut, so we left as soon as we could to try and dodge a storm that was coming in Michigan. We got about 8 inches of snow yesterday, so we tried to do everything we could to not drive through that. But all right, further on into the video, so go over Clarks Hill Lake. So kind of a rundown of the lake. Super cool lake. It was my first time at Clarks Hill. And I think it was my first time for a lot of guys. The last major tournament, I think, was there in 2006 or 2007. So it really was kind of a lake that flew under the radar for quite a while in the professional tournament scene. But like I said, super cool lake. One of the most diverse lakes I've ever been to in my entire life. You could run all the way up north and get into water clarity as low as just a couple inches, and then you could stay down south where we launched at and fish around the dam and have some water clarity, which up to about 2 to 3 feet. So really diverse, and it really made for a neat tournament, especially the time of year we were there. So a little bit of a rundown of the lake. Like I said, up north was the dirty water, just a couple inch visibility, and I saw water temperatures up there as high as in the mid-60s. And then the closer you got down to the dam and the cleaner water, obviously that water would cool off, and I saw as low as the low 50s down further by the dam. So what that did, the different water temperatures and the water clarities, is it spread the field out quite a bit, but it also made for pretty much anything you wanted to do you could have done in that tournament. As far as you could have fished shallow, foot or less, power fishing, and then you could have gotten the clean water, the cold clean water, and gotten out deep and finessed those fish. And I kind of had two different things going in practice. So a little bit about my practice. We had 3 days. We had 3 days of practice, and the conditions were different every single day. The first day of practice, it was great. It was warm, calm, sunny. The water temperatures were really warming up, and it had been warm for about a week before we got there. So the water temperatures were really, to me, the warmest I saw all week was in the first day of practice. So there's fish on the bank. The fish out deep were starting to move up. You could catch them in those transition areas, those staging areas before they moved up on the bank to spawn. And I had a really good practice, especially on day one. I caught quite a few big fish, caught a ton of fish, probably 40 keepers on day one of practice, and it was really setting up for me in the style that I like to fish, that I thought I was going to have a really good tournament. But each day of practice got colder and colder. We had a little bit of a cold front on day 2. It knocked the water temperatures back about 5 to 8 degrees, depending on the section of lake you were in. And I really noticed the shallow fish after day 2 of practice were not biting as well as they were the first day of practice, especially. And that was to be expected with the water temperatures and the cold front we had, so the water temperatures dropping. But as the tournament went on, it got steadily warmer and warmer, and those fish pushed right back up on the bank. But so a little quick overview on my practice. I had a really good day 1. Day 2, I didn't catch him very well up shallow, but I went out deep and caught him pretty good with the cold front. And then day 3, it was a little bit of a mixture of both. I spent some time up shallow in the dirty water and spent some time out deep. And it was another solid day of practice. I caught quite a few fish, shook quite a few fish off, and saw some good ones doing that. So going into the tournament, I was really looking forward to it. Like I said, I kind of had 2 different game plans going. One being extremely deep, and the other one being about as dirt shallow in the muddiest water as you could get. So there was really 2 main rods that played for me in the tournament. The first one was a Strike King Thunder Cricket. This was just a 3/8 ounce Thunder Cricket in the fire craw color, and I was throwing a 3.75-inch Rage swimmer on the back of it, which typically I don't do that on my bladed jigs. I don't like a swim bait style trailer with like an actual boot tail on it, but what that does when you're fishing it extremely shallow is it allows you to slow that bait down. You can almost hover it around the hardcover. I was fishing it around laydowns, stumps, logs. There wasn't much grass in Clarks Hill that I could find, so I was fishing it around hard targets in shallow water, trying to catch fish that were moving up and staging on that to spawn. And this turned out to be my main deal in the tournament. I threw two colors. This fire craw, which turned out to be my main deal. Like I said, the water clarity was about 2 to 5 inches, depending on the section of the lake I was fishing. So I threw the fire craw in the extremely dirty water, and then if the water just had a little bit of a stain to it, I went to just straight green pumpkin with a painted blade. So that was my deal up shallow. And then my deal out deep, which was really cool, and going into the tournament, I thought this was going to be my main thing, was a Strike King Baby Z2, just on a little 1/4 ounce jig head. I call this like a tight line jig, Demiki rig, depending on what you wanna call it. But the fish out deep, you had largemouth and spotted bass, and every now and then you'd run to them up really high in the water column, feeding or sitting right on the bottom in brush. So that was just a good versatile bait that I could throw. It had a really slow fall. I was fishing 25 to 50 foot of water depending on where I was at, and it fell really slow. It didn't fly by them when they were up high in the water column, and I could kind of stop it and tight line it and kind of keep it in front of their face for long periods of time, kind of trick these fish into biting. But unfortunately in the tournament, that deep stuff for me kind of fizzled out, and I expected that going into it. Just with the water temperature and the actual air temperature rising, I knew you were going to have more and more fish on the bank as the tournament went on, and less fish out on the staging areas. It's just how it was going to be, and I fully expected that going into the tournament. But just in practice, my biggest bites came out offshore on this technique.
Well done, man. 6-13. Good job, Robbie LaFear. All right, Robbie, here we go, man. Great job today for 9-14. Your 5 fish for tomorrow. You got to go get them. Want to give me some thoughts there, some thank yous?
Yeah, it was a little tougher than expected today. I had a solid practice, but for whatever reason, my fish were completely gone. But right at the end of the day, I got on a little something, so I caught most of my fish in the last hour or so.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to getting out there.
Get a good fresh start tomorrow. In the boat, Brett. 14 even, 23-14. Did you get them in the boat today? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you know, I called today what I thought.
So thank you so much. Appreciate you. Matt Stephan, come on up, Matt, from Junction City, Wisconsin. 14-1 yesterday. Looks like he's got them again today. Should be fishing tomorrow, man. Great job today. Well done, dude. 17 pounds and 2 ounces. A total of 31 pounds and 3 ounces for Matt Stephan. Well done, man.
Thanks. It was a struggle. At about noon, I had probably 7 pounds, and I sat down, ate a half of one of my Ma's Lucky Cookies because I wanted to save half because it's the last one.
Okay.
In the next hour, I had 17 pounds, so I have half a cookie left for tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Gotcha. So you blaming it on the cookie. You're blaming your good luck to the cookie, right? Good deal. Maybe I should ask Ma for one of them cookies. How about Robbie LaFear? Come on up, man. You had 9 pounds and 14 ounces. From Jackson, Michigan. He has 9-14 yesterday, 9-12 today. You're consistent.
Yeah.
From 19-10.
It sounds like I need to get my mom to start making me.
There you go. Get Mom to make you some cookies. There you go, man.
I was missing this
there you go.
But
I would just eat the whole thing. You know, Matt went for half. I'd eat the whole thing.
I would eat all of them on day one.
Me and you both.
No, super cool fishery. Crazy how diverse this place is. I caught fish in a foot of water all the way out, over 50 foot of water, and yeah, I'd love to come back one day.
You got it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Scott Wiley, come on up here, man. Bay Minette, Alabama. He has 5 fish in the bag. Lots of 5 fish limits, guys.
So yeah, I ended the tournament in 113th place. Unfortunately, it wasn't the tournament I was looking for. I caught on day 1 just under 10 pounds, 9 pounds 14 ounces, and then on day 2 I caught 9 pounds 12 ounces. So it was a disappointing tournament. For whatever reason, I just couldn't relocate the bigger fish. I don't know what it was. I caught big fish every day of practice, but for whatever reason, during the 2 days of my tournament, they eluded me for whatever reason. I caught plenty of fish each day, right around probably 12 to, I think day 2 I caught 16, 17, 18 keepers. I don't know, something around there. But for whatever reason, it just wasn't meant to be this tournament, I guess, which it happens. It's bass fishing. Not every tournament's going to go your way. But no, like I said, this one kind of stung pretty good, especially with as good a practice as I had. But no, I'm looking forward to getting to the next one on Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma, and yeah, fingers crossed I can get a good tournament under my belt. So try and right the ship on the season. I appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, if you'd like and subscribe.